What's up, guys? Welcome back. Hope you guys all had a great Christmas, great New Year's, had some fun times. Me, on the other hand, been struggling. As you guys know, I've been working day and nights trying to get everything fitted. And let me tell you about the biggest headache that I have is the Kraken low mount manifold. And so, if you are watching this, you probably have a Miata, right? And if you've done research on turboing it, you know you pretty much have three options. You have the Fly Miata kit, you have Kraken, and then you have MK. There's some other random kits out there that are lesser known, but those are the big three. And if you've looked up Kraken, you know that the low mount manifold is nothing but issues trying to get it fit. The top mount is easy. Low mount is where you have issues, and that's likely why Fly Miata and other brands don't have that. But me being the special person that I am, as you guys all know, I opted for the low mount because I like the way it looks. It looks a lot cleaner. Just stupidly, I like it. It is what it is. And on my old engine, I was running it fine. Everything fit, it was clocked perfectly, but that's because of a few differences. The main being the oil drain. I had a NPT pretty much just screwed right into the pan and with some JB weld. I had the JB weld special on my last engine, right? And just a slip on hose. With this new engine, it's done right. I have the AN fitting welded on, and that has led to it not fitting. I can't clock it correctly, which I'll show you guys in a second. But the old fitting I had was like this far from the oil pan. With the AN fitting, it's more like this far, which doesn't allow me to fit the oil drain line with the compressor outlet. So it's been a headache. So if you are thinking about buying the low mount Kraken manifold, please make sure you listen to these struggles that everyone talks about on the internet. So let me show you guys the main issue and what I'm talking about exactly. So we have our oil drain line here. And yes, I know you're not supposed to run a 90 and it needs to stay with the flow of gravity, but this was the only way that I can get more room. And so I tried a 45, I tried a straight, which obviously would not work. And so I opted for the 90 because I thought it'd give me some more clearance. And it did, just not enough. And so this is the compressor housing, right? This is the outlet that Kraken actually made for me, because on my last build, I told him, like, dude, there's no way this is going to fit. And this is what he came up with. And so on this side is the steering rack. And this just makes contact with it. So I wouldn't be able to turn the steering wheel because it's already touching this. And so as you can see on this side, there's no more room to clock it. Thus, there's no way that this will fit. So I've come to accept that. And the way on the forums and everyone have gotten around it is they clock the turbo up this way, and then the intercooler pipe comes out this way and down. But that kind of defeats the whole purpose of a low mount, right? I got it so it can flow down and be natural flowing, better flowing. And that's the whole reason that I like this. I didn't want a bunch of pipes out here. If I wanted that, I would have just got the top mount, right? So that's the issue we're having. I've come to the conclusion that there is no way, no special wizardry that I'm going to be doing with this AN fitting to get this to fit. So where does that leave me? I can either cry about it, which I'm definitely doing, or I can look for a solution. The solutions that I can see are get a top mount manifold, get a new downpipe, because this is not a V-band downpipe. This was before he even had that. And so I probably have to get a whole new exhaust setup. And I don't want to do that. And so the only other option I can see is change the turbo, which again, I would have to get a different downpipe. And if I want EFR, for example, or I can luckily change the compressor housing on this unit to be the GT28 slash TD04 compressor housing is what ATP Turbo calls it on their website. And it's a plug and play type situation where instead of having that compressor outlet pipe that's making contact with the steering rack and oil line, it'll actually have a fitting, a slip-on fitting on the compressor housing, which I'm hoping gives me enough space that I can just fit a silicone elbow and then straight to the intercooler piping from there with, obviously I have to fab up a pipe. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's funny because I actually, when I had the turbo out and I was, sending it off to paint, doing all that stuff, I had looked at that compressor housing and I was like, okay, this one looks kind of sick. But I was like, I don't want to spend an extra $350, which is what it costs for the compressor housing, the hardware, and the adapter little ring. So that's what we're going to do. The benefits of this housing is anti-surge housing with the vacuum line built into the compressor housing, which I like because right now on this one, I just had to drill into the little pipe elbow outlet that I have, which was kind of janky. So that's kind of nice. It'll be built into the compressor housing, so that'll be cleaner. And honestly, I just hope it fits because there's no guarantee. But this is kind of like the Hail Mary. This is the last chance I have to make this fit. Otherwise, I'm going back to the drawing board. And I'll be honest, I'm probably just not going to run this manifold at this point because it's too much of a headache. I don't want to have to clock the turbo up, be unhappy with it, and you know, I've come too far to sacrifice how I wanted it to look. And so I'm very much hoping that this will fit. So instead of having this outlet pipe here and this little flanged bolt area here, it takes 3 bolts for this pipe, it'll just have a slip-on fitting that I'm hoping will be up here, and that way I can just slip on a silicone coupler and actually come out up here, and then it'll be able to work with my existing intercooler piping, or I'll just have to make small changes. And I actually am hoping that I can actually clock the turbo a little bit more. That way it can just sit over here. But we'll see. Kind of have no idea if it's going to work or not, but like I said, it's a Hail Mary and I can't just sit around tinkering with this when it's just not going to fit in its current state. The other good thing about the new compressor housing is it looks slimmer, and this one right here you have to have an adapter inlet, so this is just bolts on here. The other one's built in, and so I'm hoping it's a lot slimmer and it'll sit closer towards the back of the engine bay and thus opening up a lot more room in this area. But we'll see, it's already on the way. Keep your fingers crossed for me, I guess. Add on to the annoyance that we've been dealing with. So I have this Skunk 2 throttle body, right? And I got the block off plate for the air idle control valve, but you can see where that orange is. That all makes contact with the intake manifold, and so I need to shave that down, which won't, this is just a hunk of metal, but it's just also annoying. Moral of the story is, if I was going to do this all over again, even on my old engine, I would not go with Kraken, just because their low mount kit, it just does not fit. It's just ridiculous. The fact that you even offer this setup for this turbo on his websites for GT 2554s and 2560s, and there's just no way it'll fit, is just crazy. Some of you guys might have seen some other drama that I have with Kraken about their hardtop pre-order, which I'm not going to speak too much on that because it's still ongoing, but we'll see if I ever get that or if I get my money back at this point. Maybe I'll dive into that in another video when he messages me back again, but who knows, that could be another 6 months from now. So we're trying to get this done as fast as we can. I got some good news though. I did order the fuel rail and the injectors, and I got a new intercooler off of Nap because he had like a auction type quick sale thing on his Instagram story. So I just got mine. There's nothing wrong with mine, but I just wanted a little spare just in case it fits better, because having such fitment issues with everything. So that's gonna come this next week, I believe. I just got the tracking today, and so that is sweet. I got the fuel lines. I'll run all those. And like I said, as soon as that turbo compressor housing gets here, I'll be able to mock it up, make sure it fits. If it does fit, then I will take it back off, send it off to be painted, and then finally get it all squared away. So we do have motion forward still. It may be small steps, but we're still taking them. I just need a victory at this point. I just realized I never showed you guys the hood that I got. So I got this hood from Miata SM, which is the GOAT for parts. Super cool. The guy, bought many things from him. But I got this Toyoshima, if I'm even saying that right, Craft carbon fiber hood. And let me tell you guys something. It does not fit. Just like all my parts, they don't fit. It doesn't fit with the manifold. So It's really minor that it doesn't fit, and I'm just gonna run spacers, so I'm gonna be those people with the the hood gap, but that's fine. I don't care. At least I have something under the hood. So yeah, I've had this for months, probably close to a year at this point, and we finally got it on. Um, so it's exciting, right? Now for the real question on everyone's mind, and in my mind too, when is this going to be done? I am really pushing for February, whether it's the first week of February or the last day, last hour, last minute of February. I 100% am going to get first start by then. Whether it's drivable, that will definitely happen on before the last day of February, because I'm going to do everything I can to push forward. I haven't been slacking, but I've been working a lot because I do have something pretty much I've wanted to do my whole life coming up here shortly. I don't want to spoil it. I'll cover it in the next video. It'll be a little change of pace, but something I've been waiting for years to do, and I've been stacking up money to make sure I have the best time possible. So I don't want to spoil it. You guys will see. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll definitely see some little teasers of what's coming. But yeah, so we're gonna keep trying, keep pushing forward. Another thing that I got that I picked up from Instagram, which I'll be honest, I don't even know why I got these, but I got them. I have always loved this style, and so why not show you guys that we can have something positive in this video. So these are Speedstar Racing Formula Meshes, and they're in pretty good condition. I could honestly run them as is, but I'm going to get them finished up. Obviously they have signs of use because they're pretty old. These are 14 by 6.5, so smaller. I don't plan on running these on the NA, but I do eventually want a clean NB build. So the main reason I got those is because when I got my first Miata from the junkyard with the boys, everyone pitched in like 300 bucks. It had reps of those, and it just hit me right in my heart. And they were cheap. But I don't really have plans for them at this point. I'm going to get them refinished and use them as an art piece for now until I can get the NA done, because we're not going to try another build or to fix up the NB that I have now until we get that NA rolling, literally on its own power. So for now, they're just going to be, I'm going to get them refinished, and then we're just going to stash them to the side for a while. To recap it all, Kraken low mount sucks. Do not get it unless you want headaches, or if you're running maybe an EFR turbo that has better clearing issues. Yeah, we're delayed as always, but we're pushing forward. It may not be big steps, but it's still forward motion, and that's all I care about at this point. And we have some fun things coming up that I will let you all know throughout the week, and then I'll post a new video. Nice little change of pace from all this, and we'll get that fuel rail installed, we'll get the fuel lines ran, compressor housing on, and everything's gonna go perfectly now. And we're gonna get this running by the end of February. So thank you guys as always for sticking around. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or you want to rant about your Kraken low mount manifold, because I'm starting a little Kraken low mount manifold anonymous group at this point, feel free to drop it in the comments, DM me on Instagram, and once again, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.